builder's block. It sucks, I hate it, bye. It's a term I've made since no one else has, practically sharing the same definition as writer's and artist block. Builder's block is the temporary period in which you lack either motivation or ideas for creating a Minecraft build. Throwing out some examples, it could either be from an overwhelming amount of stress, or caused by anxiety or perfectionism, or even because you're burned out. I get builder's block so much and it just limits me a ton, dude. I overthink things a bunch, I just leave things unfinished, and I can't seem to ever get back to them. I want the ability to just build something and then call it a day. That's all I ask, you know? Look, for example, builder's block, without builder's block. Builder's block, without builder's block. You see how much nicer builds are when you're in the zone. Anyways, I've decided to make this video because, well, no one else has been talking about it, so I thought that I might as well. And if you're watching this video, it's probably because you're experiencing the same thing too, or you're looking for how to improve your building skills. And lucky for you, this video talks all about that. So strap in, grab a notepad, and let's get into it. Point 1. Do I have builder's block? Well, it depends. Are you able to build a little thing in a couple of hours, or does it take you an entire day? You're getting frequent and creative ideas, or one that's mediocre but the first one you've had in a while. If you got these, you probably don't have builder's block and it just takes you a bit longer to make things. However, if you have all these, yeah, you probably do. But hey, it's okay. It's not a bad thing. To reiterate from before, you're probably just experiencing either some sort of burnout, stress, overthinking decisions, or again, maybe even some sort of perfectionism. Building tip number 1. Get ideas flowing. If you can't think of what to build, let's break it down into a few ideas. How big do you want this build to be? What's the style you're going for? How would this match the terrain if you're building this in survival? So ideas like this that push you into the creative mindset, and it forces you to open your mind and to really understand where you want to go with this build. Another source of getting inspiration is from photos. Trust me, it's a game changer. Now I personally use Pinterest in order to get all of my inspiration and reference photos. It's very easy. You literally go into the site, search up whatever you want to build, or even just a concept, because concept art is really good for reference by the way, and then bam! You get loads of references and inspiration to take just within the first glance of your search. It's brilliant, I love it, it helps the ideas flow, it's great. Point 2. Overcoming builder's block. Okay, you have some nice ideas flowing, you've got yourself some pictures of what you want to build. Now what? Well, make a single player world. I personally like to change a few settings since I'm picky, and then we can start planning. Oh, also, side note, I would advise keeping this world and dubbing it as your build world. This is because you can then see all of your past creations, take inspiration from them, or learn from them. I did this and I definitely saw a skyrocket in my building skills because I constantly have my previous builds to look back at and to improve on. Also, please make a backup of these worlds. I was an idiot and deleted the one world save I had of my build which had 2 years worth of builds on it. I have to start anew and it sucks. When it comes to building, I've learned that it takes time for it to be a great build. I usually spend about 2 to 3 hours in each build just because I like to ensure I create one to the best of my ability and something I can walk away happily from. So what we've got to do now is planning, and it's mainly to do with the shape. I know that I personally like to use wool in this process, just because the vibrant colours usually aren't going to actually be in my build, and it also helps separate each section of the build. When creating a house, I use red for the walls, yellow for the roof, blue for an additional part of the house like a second story or something that attaches onto it, and then finally magenta if there's anything miscellaneous that I want to add into my build. When creating something else, like this train station, I used red for the floor, blue for the bridge, and yellow for the right wall. Doesn't matter what colour they are, just as long as you know what indicates where. Using this photo on the left, I'll start by shaping my build. I don't want to go too crazy with planning the smaller shapes yet, since again, this is the very first step. Now we have the main shapes, we can start breaking them down into smaller and more significant ones. Building tip number 2. Texturing and colours. This makes or breaks the build. It's the part of the creative process that takes me the longest to do, and it's at this step that can really add character to your build and bring it to life. There's plenty of ways to texture a build, and the ones that I primarily use are patchy, blocky, and in streaks. You can use these for all different types of builds. I like to use patchy in walls, streaks on roofs, and blocky in terrain. Also, when deciding gradients, there are a few ways that I've actually seen help people. Whether that be using Hue Blocks, a wonderful website to use actual colours and translate them into Minecraft blocks, or nicking gradients from other people's builds if you can't make one in the moment. I personally create gradients on my own, but honestly, either works. Also, make sure to use gradients that make sense and work well with each other. Like for example, you don't really want a nice looking house to be ruined by a green roof and purple walls, do you? Another thing to mention is that I see a lot of people just lathering gradients onto a build and calling it texture. I hate to break it to you, but that is not texturing. Although it may appeal to some, and you can still build this way, I personally don't enjoy that style of a build. Again, texturing is supposed to add life to the build and actually help make sense. So maybe there is a gradient, but use it on a stone wall. So it's patchy, but still looks like it's actually meant to be there, instead of it just going from cobblestone to diorite. Another thing to note, I've got so many notes. Building is like any other form of art. So it's objective, and not everyone will like it. So realistically, build the way you want to. Point 3. Conclusion. That's not really a point title, but it is an end. You can now start adding in things like flower pots and foliage on the outside, but then after that, you're done. With the exterior, at least. Now you're done with this build, try again tomorrow, or in 2 days from now. Consistency is key if you want to get back into a motivated pace, or want to improve your building skills. Even if it's a weird thing, like a procrastination monster. Ugh. As long as you learn something from it. For example, I learned how to shape the stairs and slabs. Still something you can take away and apply it somewhere else. Maybe not the monster though, because they're horrifying, and I don't think anyone wants to see that. Yeah, that's all. I hope this helped you a little bit, and this is my first video, so if you did like it, subscribe. Right, cheers. Goodbye, I'm going now.